For the last few months, I've been using this backpack, and it is the best backpack I have ever used. Today, I'm going to show you what's inside it. So it's time for another daily tech carry video. I know I've done a few of these before, but this one, well, I was inspired by this backpack, to be honest. I wasn't going to make another daily carry video for a little while, but I've been using this, like I mentioned before, for quite a few months now, and I can't get over how good it is. This is handmade by Waterfield in San Francisco. They're not sponsoring this video. They did send me this to try out and use, which is very kind of them. And I won't go into loads of details about what it does. It's a backpack, but it's got loads of compartments, as you'd imagine, and it's made from this lovely leather, and I'm not sure what material this is, but it's very tough. The leather obviously wears very nicely, like you can see here. This is the chocolate brown one. You can add a matching laptop folio if you want as well. I don't use that. I've been using something else, which I'll show you in a moment. Firstly, it's like a TARDIS. You can fit so much stuff in the main compartment, but beyond that, it's got a separate laptop compartment, which has got room, I think, for 3 laptops. It's got a little pouch at the front. It's got very sizable side pockets. It's got that thing on the back, which you can use to put over your luggage in airports, which is very, very useful. And the second reason I love it is because it is so comfortable to wear. Even with all that stuff in there weighing it down, when you've got it strapped on with both straps, it is just very, very convenient to walk around. So thanks again to Waterfield for sending me this one and making such lovely products all the time. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out yourselves. But let's check out what's inside this thing. This is going to be a bit of a random video because my daily tech carry is pretty random. And again, just to emphasize how good and how TARDIS-like this backpack is, all the stuff I'm about to get out of this doesn't always stay in this backpack. We're going to start with, if I open this side pocket, this. And this is the UGREEN Nexode 140 watt charger. UGREEN are very kindly sponsoring this video, and I'm glad they are because I can keep the lights on, but also because I love their stuff. And this is basically the only charger that I take with me these days. It's got 3 ports on there. It's got a USB-A port that's capable of charging up to 22.5 watts, a USB-C port which is 100 watts, and another USB-C port which is up to 140 watts. And that 140 watt port can take a laptop like the MacBook Pro past 50% from dead in about 30 minutes. But more importantly, you can charge 3 things at once, which is great. It uses GaN technology. I always have to look this up. It's good news, but basically it means it's more efficient, it's safer, there's less heat, and it's smaller. It's smart as well, so it uses that GaN technology to change the power distribution between devices. I use it all the time for my MacBook, for my iPads, for my iPhone, for my daily Android carry, for my Apple Watch. It charges the Apple Watch Ultra very quickly. So the only charger I ever use at home and on my travels is this. It is brilliant. And the best news is that UGREEN are running a Black Friday sale from the 18th of November. I'll put links in the description. Next up, we'll talk computing devices, and this is where things get slightly embarrassing because, again, I don't always carry all of this stuff around with me, but sometimes I do take too many with me. So depending on what I'm doing, I might take with me the MacBook Pro, the 16-inch, it's in here, the 16-inch M1 Max powered MacBook Pro. It's in this lovely Initech case. I love Initech stuff, it's just brilliant. This has lasted a long time and it keeps going strong. But in here is my beast of a 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is the M1 Max version. It's got 32 gig of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive or SSD, and it's got the maxed out graphics, all that stuff. And it's a beast both in performance and also the size and weight of it. I'm doing a lot more traveling at the moment, and I'm finding that this is a bit of a burden when I'm out on the road. So I'm thinking potentially when Apple releases their next version of the 14-inch MacBook Pro, I might switch, possibly. So yeah, that's the kind of production powerhouse, but it's sometimes a bit of a pain. Now also in this case, I have 2 SSDs. These are my production SSDs. All of my video footage is on these, all of my Final Cut libraries and stuff. They're great. They are SanDisk, what are they? SanDisk Extreme Pros. Brilliant, very robust, you can chuck them around. Right, next up we have the M2 MacBook Air, and again, depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going, this might come with me in my daily carry. And oh look, it's Initech again, another Initech case. Brilliant, again, they're not sponsoring this video, I just love their stuff. And if you've got an M2 MacBook Air and you're worried about damaging it, which is completely understandable, this is a brilliant option. It's very hard. I love this case, it's fantastic. Anyway, so let me just open up, let's get it out. So this is the base level M2 MacBook Air. It's the midnight version. It is covered in smudges, as you can see. I've just got used to that, I don't care anymore. And it's great in terms of using it for just normal business stuff. This is a brilliant laptop. It's also my writing companion of choice most of the time. So I use Ulysses to write my blog posts and the scripts and things for videos. It's just an absolute performer, really. It's also ridiculously light, ridiculously thin, and very easy to carry around. Now, let me get my two iPads out. Where are they? So I don't carry two iPads around with me. In fact, no, I do. I'll come on to that. I don't carry these two around, basically. So we have here the M1 edition iPad Air 5, which is a great iPad. It's fantastic for the money, I think. It's a shame it hasn't got things like ProMotion and what have you, and the M1 chip doesn't make a jot of difference whatsoever, but it's when you pair it with the Magic Keyboard, which I've got here, it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. I also have on top of here a Benx stylus. Now, I made a TikTok about this and also a short form video about this on YouTube, which has attracted a lot of attention because this is £40. 40 quid versus the 140 quid that you spend on the official Apple version. And it does pretty much everything the Apple version does. It charges like that. The battery life is great. It has a little light on top of it, which the Apple version doesn't have, which basically can tell you when it's charging and pairing via Bluetooth. The only thing it doesn't have, as far as I'm aware, is the pressure sensitivity. So if you're an artist or if you like drawing and that sort of stuff, or if pressure sensitivity is important to you, it won't be any good. But if you're just using it for taking notes, 40 quid. Come on guys, it makes total sense. Anyway, so that's that. So that's my iPad Air 5. At the moment, I also have the 10th generation iPad. This is the weird metallic yellow colored one, which I can quickly show you. Again, I'll link above to my video about this, but it's a strange color. It's an even stranger iPad, but it does have this brilliant keyboard folio, which is very Microsoft Surface-like. If I flip it open like that, which you can use on your lap, no problem at all. Don't believe people that say you can't. It's a really weird laptop, a really weird iPad, which is very, very hard to recommend because the iPad Air exists, but you can't get the laptop, sorry, I keep saying laptop, you can't get the Magic Keyboard Folio for any other iPad at the moment, and that's the issue. Now, I mentioned earlier that I do carry around two iPads because if I am carrying around either one of those, I will invariably have my iPad mini with me as well. Mine is in a Harbour London slipcase thing, which is a bit expensive, but pretty nice. Everything about this iPad is fantastic. The screen could be better, although when you put a paper-like screen protector on here, like I have, I'll put a link in the description, it completely changes the game because I use this mainly for two things. One of them is content consumption, so I watch YouTube and stuff on it, but the main thing I use it for is taking notes. So I use a combination of the Apple Pencil 2, the iPad mini, and that fantastic paper-like screen protector. And the paper-like makes it, as you'd guess, feel like paper, but you have to try it to believe it. It's just incredible. So if you're taking notes, this is a brilliant setup. Next up, we have whatever headphones I'm currently testing, and that is one of the upsides and downsides of this job. I love headphones. I've made lots of videos about headphones. I have my favorites, but because I'm always testing a new pair, I don't really get to settle with any one pair for very long. At the moment, I'm using these, which are the Mackie BT 60, I think. I'll put the proper name down here. I've literally only had them for 2 or 3 days and a review is coming. They are over-ear noise-cancelling headphones from a brand who typically make pro audio stuff, so immediately they're very interesting. I won't give you any spoilers now, I'll tell you more about those in a future video, but generally speaking, there will be a pair of noise-cancelling headphones in my bag. And talking of music listening equipment, I always have my AirPods Pro 2 with me. I've attached a little lanyard from Amazon, I'll link to that if you fancy one yourself. They are a surprise hit of 2022. They're such a massive upgrade over the AirPods Pro 1. It's hard to get across just how good these things are, but they are indispensable. Next up, we have a little cable organiser made by, you guessed it, Innertech. Now, this isn't the normal Innertech tech organiser that I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. This is a smaller version, and I've switched to this recently just because all I put in here is cables. So it's a mixture of lightning cables, USB-C cables, my Apple Watch charger. The only other thing in here, actually, which is definitely worth mentioning, is this. Now, this is the Zeera MagFold, and it's basically, if I fold it out, a 3-device charging mat. It's got a MagSafe charger here, so you can safely attach your iPhone to that end. It's got a flip-outable Apple Watch charger, which is very nice, and it's also got a standard wireless charger there, so you can place pretty much any phone or wireless charging thing on top. And all you do is attach a USB-C cable there, and away you go. It's not going to charge things super fast, but if you're staying at a hotel, for instance, and you just need something convenient to charge all your bits and pieces on, it's really, really useful. Right, next up we have my favourite ever mouse, ever. I'm very boring about this. It's the Logitech MX Master 3. I've got it in this case, which is essential because I can just chuck it in this, lob it in the bag and not worry about it. But basically, if you want a traditional mouse, just buy one of these. The only other thing in the bag is an AirTag, which I've never used, thankfully. That's probably a good thing. So I suppose the only other thing to mention briefly are my daily carry phones, which at the moment are the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Google Pixel 7 Pro. They are both very good flagship phones. This one is far more expensive than this one, which makes the iPhone very difficult to recommend. The iPhone pretty much stays as it is for about a year until the next one comes out. The Android phone does change quite regularly, as you can imagine. I don't want it to change at the moment because I love this Pixel 7 Pro. It's such a good device. If you've still got some time, guys, and you want to find out what I've done to my iPad Air 5 to make it this kind of ultimate productivity machine, and also if you want to find out why I'm still struggling to fully fit it into this business, keep watching for a link to that video.